Are you dreaming of owning a piece of land in the beautiful Lowcountry of South Carolina, possibly Beaufort, Bluffton, or Hilton Head Island? Whether you're looking to build your forever home or just make a smart investment, buying land can be one of the most rewarding decisions you'll make. But before you sign on the dotted line, there are a few critical things you need to know to ensure your purchase is a sound one. Hi, I'm Sue LeFavi with eXp Realty, and if you have any questions along the way, just call, text, or email me. Okay, number one, utilities. Is water, electric, and sewer already available on the property? Even if the answer is yes, according to the multiple listing property description, you are still going to want to verify any potential hookup costs from the utilities companies, because these costs could range from a couple $100s to several $1,000s. And something else to know, if the land has been subdivided and you're going to purchase one of those parcels, you need to make certain that Beaufort Jasper Water and Sewer has certified availability of these services. The certification is that your property has its own water and sewer broken out. While this is actually a requirement for the property owner to subdivide their land, there is very little oversight over this. And I know of one case where a buyer logically assumed the subdivided property was certified, but come to find out, after he closed on the property, that was not the case. And it was going to cost the buyer an upwards of $60,000 to get the utilities in place. Now, if water is not available and a private well is required, that is going to cost you somewhere between $5,000 and $15,000, depending on the depth drilled and the well's diameter. If sewer is not available and a septic tank is going to be required, you will need to have the soil inspected. And you might have heard the term perk test to determine if a septic tank will work or not. However, here in Beaufort County, they no longer use that test because it's not very accurate. A lot may pass the perk test during a dry season, but fail a perk test during a rainy stretch when the water table is closer to the surface. Instead, a county inspector will visit the property to determine whether the land is suitable for a septic tank by looking at four things: soil type, slope of the land, number of bedrooms in the proposed house plan, and the location of any private wells on or near the site. If the land is suitable for a septic tank, they will issue a permit to construct. If it's determined the land is not suitable, you either simply cannot build your house, or, depending on the results, you may be able to put in an alternative septic system, what is known as an engineered septic tank. And if this is the case, it is going to cost you approximately 3 times the standard septic tank cost. So definitely something you need to know. Okay, number 2, the survey. Does the seller have a recent survey? A survey will tell you exactly where the property boundaries lie, which is essential for avoiding disputes with neighbors. But don't stop there. Ask if a topographical survey, or topo, has been completed. This map will show you the features and contours of the land. And why is this important? Because here in Beaufort County, certain trees are protected. A majestic oak could be right where you want to build your dream home, and you may not be allowed to remove it. I recently had a client that was very interested in purchasing this gorgeous lot, but as you can see, smack dab in the middle is a majestic oak tree that's probably 200 years old, and there's no way to build around this tree. And building plans would need to be submitted to even apply for an approval. In this case, not only would the county have to approve, but approval would also need to come from the homeowners association, typically the architectural review board. At the end of the day, you may not even get approval to remove that tree, because I will bet your neighbors are going to fight against it. And why not? Hey, they want to enjoy their privacy as well as the gorgeous tree. Therefore, in this case, there was just too much risk involved in purchasing this lot. You could wind up owning $100,000 of dirt you can do nothing with other than put up a tree swing. And by the way, even if you ended up able to build around a protected tree, depending on where the branches are, you may not get insurance to cover you unless you cut down branches, which also needs approval. A few other benefits of having a survey in place are understanding any easements such as utility lines or access roads that could affect where you can build, as well as legal protection. Many title companies require a survey before issuing title insurance, ensuring there are no issues with the land's legal description. Also, a survey ensures the land complies with local zoning laws, including what I think one of the most important factors: setbacks. If you're looking at any type of waterfront or marsh view property in Beaufort County, this is a big deal. For example, the setback set by the Office of Coastal Resource Management, or OCRM, is typically 60 feet from the water. These setbacks can dramatically affect where and how large you can build your home. If your lot is in an HOA community, the covenants will also specify setbacks between your home and the neighbors. I recently had a client that had a contract pending on a $500,000 waterfront lot. And during the due diligence period, we discovered there's no way he was going to be able to build his 3,000 square foot home with a 3-car detached garage within all of the setbacks. Thus, was able to back out of the sale. The topo survey will also map out the elevation of the terrain, another critical thing to know here in the Lowcountry, even if you're not purchasing land on the water. That's because you will want to know if that lot is in a flood zone. If it is, this certainly is not a deal breaker, but it might require you to build an elevated home. And this is exactly how my house is built. But there are those people that don't want to go up 20 stairs to get to the first floor. Now, everything I've discussed may have been intuitive and you were already aware of these things. However, let me address a few things you may not have considered. Is the land in an AQ zone? You're probably asking, what the heck is that? AQ stands for Air Installations Compatibility Use Zone. If you find property near the Marine Corps Air Station here in Beaufort, which is one of the United States' most crucial military installations, you will have to sign an AQ disclosure for jet noise and accident probability. Here they train the military pilots on the powerful F-18 and F-35 jets. No, they don't fly every day, all day long. It might be a few days a week, and they don't fly late at night. It just depends on their training schedule. And here in Beaufort, we call it the sound of freedom. Again, just something you want to be aware of. Next, high-speed internet. If you work from home, like many of us these days, you're going to want to make sure there is a service provider with high-speed fiber links. I had a good friend of mine from Georgia that moved into a rental house just down the road from mine on Ladies Island, and she works exclusively from home. But as it turned out, high-speed internet was only available halfway down her street. So she spent about a month going through all sorts of hoops, rigging up internet service. And at the end of the day, I couldn't even tell you what she did. I also have a client potentially looking to move to Beaufort, and she owns an electric Hummer vehicle. One of her major concerns is being close to a high-speed charging station. They are just not everywhere. Just something else to consider if you own an electric vehicle. And another thing I want to mention that probably sounds very basic is talk to the surrounding neighbors. They will often tell you everything you want to know and then some about the neighborhood. I was out once with clients looking at waterfront land, and they were well aware it would require flood insurance and that the house would need to be elevated with the garage underneath. But what we also found out when talking with the neighbor was that All the properties on that side of the road often flooded in the garage at a super high tide, which we call king tides, occurring with a full moon. She said it was no big deal, they got used to living with it, but my clients were like, there's no way we're gonna do that. We would have had no way to know that if it weren't for that neighbor. One final valuable tip: bring a local builder with you to walk the lot. Their experience and expertise are invaluable in spotting potential issues or opportunities that you might miss. I'm delighted to put you in contact with a few excellent ones who typically don't mind meeting with folks looking to build. Now you might be wondering, do I need to get all this done before putting in an offer on a piece of land? The answer is no. Our state of South Carolina land purchase contract has many of these contingencies already built into the agreement. And I always include a due diligence period with a reasonable time frame to get questions answered and any of the other contingencies completed. In summary, buying land is more than finding a beautiful spot. It's about making sure the spot is right for your needs and your future plans. In the end, designing and building a home can be a great experience. But doing your homework now means you'll end up with your dream home and not a pile of dirt. Again, if you have any questions about this video or real estate in general in the Lowcountry, please reach out anytime. Thanks.